Okay, hello everybody. I'm going to quickly try to address a few issues that keep coming up and questions that I keep getting asked by customers. And hopefully this can help solve any problems or questions that you may have. So to begin with, a question I get asked many times is there any easy way to get the decals off my rims before I put the new decals on? I wish I had a good answer for this. It really isn't. Some decals come right off, no problem. Others have very strong adhesive and you got to use heat like a hair dryer, and then often they don't want to come off in one piece, so you're picking little pieces off, and then they leave a bunch of residual adhesive behind that you got to use either Goo Gone or some kind of solvent to get off. I wish I had good news for you, but often that is the case. As in this wheel, I just took a custom decal off this side and it left a ton of residue, especially along where the edge of the lettering was. That all has to come off before you put the new decals on. If you try to put a new decal over little bits of adhesive, it will show through. So whenever you order decals from me, you get a couple of packets of alcohol wipes, and this for the most part will get most of that off. Give it a good rub, and then if you keep working on it, you'll see that it will eventually come off. So there we go. All the adhesive that was right there is gone now. I'm going to do the whole rim. There's more over here. See, for some reason this side left hardly any adhesive. Same decal, same wheel, same surface. It's just one of those things. So now my wheel is all clean, and look, I just washed this wheel and there's still a ton of dirt on it, so it's good to use the alcohol wipe to get all that off. So, as in my other videos, I've got my cardboard box here with a hole cut in the middle of it, so you can just stick your cassette or the end of the hub in there and it keeps the wheel steady while you're doing this. I'm going to put that to the side for a minute. Another question I get is people are concerned about the size of the decals and if it's going to actually fit on their rim. So, real quickly, if you have say a 50mm rim, then you don't want to buy a decal that is, say, 50mm high, because you have, just for instance on this wheel, you have 7mm of brake surface. Now often wheels can go up to 10, 12 even millimeters of brake surface. On a carbon wheel generally it's between 7 and 9. So then you also have this inner curvature of the wheel right here, so you don't want the decal going into that. So this wheel overall, let's do it in millimeters. This wheel overall is 47mm, but I have to take into account 11mm, I'm sorry, I misspoke before. This is 11mm of brake track, and then there's probably another 5mm of inner curvature. So when you look at the actual space I have to work with, it's only 30mm, even though this is a 47mm wheel. So any decal I have has to fit into that space, so I'm looking at probably 25mm would be the optimal space to work with. So I have a set of decals here. These are NV decals, just as an example. These are 25mm high. One way you can do this, as you've seen in my other examples, is you can cut them apart with scissors. So I will do that for one, and then I'll show you another way you can do this. Cut them all apart at once. Another way you can do this is take a razor blade and just lightly score in between them like this. Careful not to nick the label itself. Now this is the way that I like to do it, but I have a gentle hand and can not cut all the way through, so when you peel it off, it just comes off the backing sheet like so. Also, that way, the backing sheet is scored so I can pull them apart. Now another difficult thing is, this is a wheel that requires 3 decals per side. So you're doing this in thirds. It would be easier if it was just 2 decals, because you can tell 1/2 and 1/2. You can use your valve stem as a guide. But in this instance, I don't have that option, so I know that directly across from my valve stem is where I want the first decal to go. So I'm going to put one there. Just going to set it there, just with the paper backing. And then I'm going to spin to what looks like about a third, which I think is right about there. Take another decal and spin to what I think is just about a third of that. Now I'm going to use these top, left, and right as my reference, and then put my third on the bottom. Now you can check this by spinning the wheel so that your other decal is on the bottom. And they look about right. This one looks a little high, so I'll move that. And spin again. Okay, so those look a little high. And just keep going until it looks right. I like that. It looks good right there. So now, using this as my reference point, I'm going to very carefully peel the label off the backing sheet. So the only reason that this clear pre-space tape is on there is merely to take the label off the backing sheet and put it onto the wheel, and then it comes off. So line it up wherever you want it, really. Kind of halfway in the wheel is good, halfway between the brake track and the inner curvature of the wheel. Put it on there, rub it down, rub along the decal to get the bubbles out, if there are any, and leave it. Move on to the next one. And leave it. Move on to the next one. Okay, now for the most common problem I get asked about. My decals are not sticking to my wheel. I'm taking the pre-space tape off and the decal is coming up with it. This is a perfect example. This is a matte carbon wheel. Matte carbon wheels have this kind of waxy surface that stickers don't like to stick to. If you have a nice, clean, smooth surface, once that sticker's on there, it's on there right away. You ain't getting it off. With these, you could probably get this off if you wanted to, even though you rubbed it on there pretty good. So when you're peeling the pre-space tape off of one of these decals, start at one corner and go very slowly. So I got lucky with this one, and then try to pull it off at a very sharp angle. That one didn't come up at all. So we got lucky there. Let's see about this one. Same with this one. Lucky all over. That. So if you do find that your decals are coming up with the pre-space tape, my advice is to leave it. Just leave them on here, rub it back down, leave the pre-spacing tape on there, and give it a couple of hours. The adhesive on the back of this label will start to work its way into the microscopic grooves of the carbon fiber, and it will grip on. The longer a decal stays on, the stronger the adhesive grips in. It's kind of like concrete. The longer, the stronger. With these decals, right now I could probably peel this off very easily, but after about a month, it's not going to come up very easily at all, and it's going to leave all that residue behind because the adhesive has made its way into the nooks and cracks of the, well, not cracks, but little microscopic bits of the carbon fiber. That said, gloss rims are much easier, obviously. So I hope that helps. If there's anything else I can do for you, please let me know.